Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. Today we're going to have a real simple rehouse. Now, as some of you will be aware, we in the Beastie Room have picked up a couple of collections that people have decided to part with, and we had one earlier on, a few weeks back now, from James up in Boston. And this is another one of his that we're about to do now. And this is the Poecilotheria fasciata, or the Sri Lankan Ornamental. Now, these really are a really pretty spider. So what we're going to do is, it's already in the same size enclosure as what I'm going to use here. But this particular spider we're going to keep. We're going to hang on to this one. So we're going to put it into one of our exos, and it can go up on the wall with our other Poecilotheria. So we keep them all together, and then that way we can maintain what it is we're actually trying to achieve with them. So what we're going to do, we'll put this on the back here at the moment, out of the way. Now, this is an Exoterra, 20 by 20 by 30. And we are basically going to do a really simple setup. So what we're after, we are going to we have all our stuff all made up. Look, this is all done ready. So what we do is we cut all our membranes and we keep them in a pile, so that when we've got a tank that we need to do, everything is there ready. So all we've got to do is go to our little shop and pick up what we need. So we'll get that there, and then we'll be out. We've got a brand new bag. We haven't even opened it. Look at that. Right, let's open that up. I actually thought we'd already opened that. So what we're going to do is we're going to just put some clay balls in the bottom. Now, it isn't 100% necessary to do that with this type of setup, but it does just give us a little bit more control over what we want to do. So looking forward, if we want to increase the humidity in this enclosure, flood it out, ready for breeding or whatever, we're already there. We can do it. We can go crack on straight away, and we haven't got to look at rehousing our spider. So we put our membrane in. We're now going to get our normal potting compost. Let's put that in there. Don't need a huge amount. And we're going to top it up with some Beastie mix. There we go. And that'll just give us, you see, so what we're using really is we're going with the potting compost to give us some bulk. That just fills it out, and then we're using the Beastie mix, which is the nice stuff, just to add on top. Otherwise we'd end up getting through an awful lot of Beastie mix. So by using the two materials, we can actually save on both and still get the desired effect. So then we're going to have that in there. Now we're going to have, as you remember, the ornamentals, they're an arboreal spider, and they do like to tuck themselves away. So we've got a nice upright piece of bark. Now, one of the things we often get asked at, when people are setting their enclosures, we get many photographs of people's enclosures get sent through to us on Messenger and what have you. And they're looking for an opinion. They want to know what we think of their enclosure. And one of the things that always seems to come out is people don't put what I would consider a large enough piece of bark in the back. Quite often they're like this high, so it's just a tiny little piece of bark. There's no need. You've got 30 centimeters of height here. Let's make use of it. Yeah, so we're looking at having the spider will go in through the top, so we're looking at having the top in the top third of the enclosure, and that means it's got the rest of this to actually web up, and it can go and hide down in here and do whatever it wants to do. Now we're going to put our water bowl up in the top, So again, it's an arboreal spider, so we want to put our water bowl high up. You know, these spiders will go to the ground, but they will prefer to be high up. So we're going to look at doing that. So we're going to want to put this up here somewhere, really. But first off, we are going to put a little bit of bark and a little bit of moss in the bottom. Now this moss don't actually look very good at the moment because it's dried out. Where it's so hot at the minute, the sun is severe, it's actually dried out quite substantially. But it doesn't matter, because what we've done is we've hydrated it before it's gone in. So we've given it a good soaking, and then that will help it, that will revitalise it, and it will literally just kick off, and it'll end up looking lovely in no time at all. So we're going to put another piece of bark in here. Now the idea of this piece of bark is to give our spider a little bit more climbing space, and what we're hoping for is that she will sit out here. That's what we're hoping. She'll sit out here and she'll become more visible. Quite often, if all they've got is that one piece of bark in the back, you won't see so much of them. You might just see toes out here. But if they've got something to rest on, which is really, really close to home, then they are more likely to come out, they'll venture out, and they'll sit there. And you might find, for the first few months, as soon as you appear, they dive back down, and you're like, oh man, they've gone away again, you know, I never get to see this spider. But in time, they will get used to you moving around, and they'll get used to the general gist of what happens in your household. And eventually, they will sit out. So building their confidence, along with the way you feed them, will ensure that you see more of them. Right then, so we're going to put our bowl in here. Now these, as you know, I use these milk bottle tops, and they're quite wide, they're quite deep. So what we're looking for is we're looking to try and find a little crevice on our bark that we can actually, it will sit in. So there's one there, we can put it there. We just put it, it's all about finding the right spot. We don't want to put it up here because this is where we want our spider to sit. So we want it back here, or we could actually, we could go there, that'd be better. We'll go there. Now then, another thing that we often get questioned about is my water bowl doesn't stick. It doesn't stay where I put it. And there's normally a really simple answer to this. It's because you're being a bit tight with your glue. You got to put a bit more glue on. So we got our hot glue gun, just our regular hot glue gun. And as you see on here now, we are going to put a real good firm dollop of it on. We've got our water. That's the key, is the water. Right. So we've got really, really hot glue now. This has been left on for a little while, so it's lovely and hot. You might even be able to see the smoke coming off of that. And you notice there, a lovely big generous helping of hot glue. Yeah, and then what we do is we offer it back up to where we want it. And we squeeze it in like that. Hold it, make sure it's level. And then before it gets time to go off, we spray it. There you go. That now is fixed firm. Yeah? And it's nice and easy. Look, I can touch that now. It's no problem to me whatsoever. I'm not going to get burnt. So we can fill that up with water. Look at that. That could have been put in with a spirit level. Absolutely lovely. Right, so we'll get rid of this. Turn that off because that will catch me out later. I'll end up burning my fingers. Right then, so we've got our water bowl in. We've built our resting place. We've got the home here. We've got our backing board on the back to give our spider security. Hopefully, we've got everything that we need to make this spider nice and happy. So we're going to give that a little bit more of a spray there, just on that moss. Give it a little bit extra. Right then, let's have a look at our spider, shall we? Now then, she is in here somewhere. So what we're going to do I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to move that over there. We've got our catch cup here just in case. We never know. Now then, you'll remember it looks like she is actually underneath this stuff here. So that means that we can take these bits and pieces here, we can take them out. And what we're looking for is allowing ourselves a bit of room so that we don't end up having a fight with her. So we can take out absolutely anything that's of no use to us. We know she's under this bit of bark here. So we're going to see if we can take this bit out here. There we go. And what we're doing is we are slowly deconstructing her old enclosure. Now it looks like she's sat on the floor. Can we see her in there? No. Difficult to see through the glass. Right, what we're going to do then, we are going to get our catch cup ready. Now these Poecilotheria are very, very quick. They can teleport. They've got a good reputation for being teleporters. There she is. Oh, look at her. Doesn't she look pretty? So right, now we've got that, we can take a bit of bark out. We can lose that. We see her there. Right then, I think what we'll do is we'll catch her in the catch cup. Now you notice now at the moment she's been nice and calm. She's good as gold. So what we're going to do, we're going to get her in the catch cup. We'll see how she behaves. There we go, nice and gently. No dramas. Now what we can do is we just slide the lid in. So what we're looking for is we're trying to slide the lid. There we go, a little bit of gentle persuasion, and we managed to move her out. Let's put it there for a second. Oop. Bit clumsy. Right. Now she's actually in here. We'll get to have a really nice look. She seems fairly placid. There you go. What a beautiful spider. Now you can see there she's got that typical pokey stance. We often get asked why are they called pokies. This is just short for Poecilotheria. However you'd like to pronounce that, there's many ways of pronouncing that. Depending on what country you come from, depends quite often on how it's pronounced. Now this is a female, it's a young female. And as you can see there, she is very, very well behaved. And this is something else. All of the ornamentals are given to have rather bad reputations because they're known for literally teleporting themselves around. They can be very, very quick. They can be quite defensive. But apart from that, they're a very, very easy spider in which to care for. So if you're thinking along the lines of owning some of these, there is nothing to be afraid of. You know, they are relatively straightforward. They just are rather quick. Now, if you can come to grips with the speed of them, there's absolutely no reason why you won't enjoy keeping one. And you just take your time. You know, there's nothing to say you need to rush. So what we're going to do now, we're going to ask this young lady to step out onto this bit of cork, because I think it would be nice to actually see her. I don't know if we can pick it up and see the underside of her. You can see the yellow. It's not very strong actually. Right. Some of them, these don't have as much yellow as the others. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to pop that in there like that. Now we're going to with our brush, we're going to hopefully walk her out without her taking off. And you see there she's having a little bit of a flinch. So what we're looking for is we're trying to maintain contact with our brush. You can see that yellow now. She's not sure because she can't find the wood. Once she feels the wood, she'll be good. There we go. And you can see there she's nice and calm. Very, very pretty spider. Now these get relatively large, so there'll be nothing unusual to see these out at 6-7 inches when fully grown. As we said earlier on, and by the enclosure that we're seeing here, these are an arboreal spider, so they do like to climb. They like a little bit of height. Now food wise, this girl will pretty much take anything, to be fair. Here in the beastie room we tend to mainly feed male dubias to our pokies, and this is purely because the male dubia will actually wander around. He won't bury so much. He'll wander around and explore, and that means our spiders often pick them up. They can hunt for them themselves. Now we do feed them by tongs as well. Sometimes we can literally offer her food and she'll take it straight away. So it all depends. It all depends on what we're trying to achieve at the time. Now humidity wise, we're looking in the 70 right up to 85% humidity, and these guys are fine. Now when we come round for general maintenance, just for keeping them, we would tend to keep them around about 75-80%, and that's fine. When we're coming into breeding, then we do bang the humidity right up, even up into the 90s sometimes, and it seems to really kickstart them. So, but as a general rule, 75 to 80% is more than enough. It's perfect. And as you saw there, with some nice considerate handling, just being gentle, being calm, we can actually move them around and they're not that bad. Now, on the subject of spiders with bad reputations, there's many of them within the hobby. But what I would suggest to you is, we often get asked, oh, that's a medically significant spider, which is what these guys are. They are classed as a medically significant spider. And by that, it means that the bite from one of these is quite probably going to put you in hospital, where you will need to go in and get some pain relief and what have you. It's not going to kill you, but it will most certainly upset your day. So if you're just a normal, healthy adult, there's not a lot to worry about. Now, it will be very uncomfortable. But what I would suggest to you is, if you go through the internet and things like that, how many confirmed, proper registered bite reports are there for all of these so-called bad spiders? Now, just because they have medically significant venom does not make them terrible spiders. We've seen there, they can come in and they're nice and calm. They're lovely things to deal with. They're really easy to care for. You just need to be a little bit sensible with how you approach them, and everything will be fine. So don't get too tied up into this toxicity thing with their venom and stuff. And while we're on the subject, no, there is no antivenoms. I keep getting asked, is there antivenoms? There is no antivenoms for any of the spiders that you will find in the hobby that we keep, especially in this country. In this country, there is nothing here that is going to have that. If you do have a venomous spider, which is a dangerous venomous spider, we're looking at something like the Brazilian wandering spider or something like that, or maybe a black widow, then they are on the DWA list and they are covered with that dangerous wild animals license, and that's what you must have to own one. So generally in the hobby, it's not an issue. It really isn't an issue. As for the Japanese funnel web, which is the most famous deadly spider, shall we say, you just don't see them, and you're never ever going to get offered one. And if someone tells you they got one, they're more than likely lying. You know, unless they live in Australia, then they'll have some. but they don't come into the hobby, and Australia doesn't export them. So you're very, very unlikely to ever come up against one of them. Right then. Well, that is her done. A lovely simple enclosure, nice and easy, and a very simple spider to look after. Right then. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I will see you soon, guys.